guys, how y'all doing today? My name is Franchise Fanatic and welcome back to the channel. And today for you guys, this is another MCU review. Today we're tackling the first MCU, I guess, canon official Spider-Man movie, which is of course Spider-Man Homecoming. This came out in 2017 and my god is it a good freaking Spider-Man movie. Now look, when it comes to, as I just throw it down, when it comes to oh yeah, leave a like, subscribe, thanks. When it comes to the Marvel movies, specifically Spider-Man, you guys maybe know my history with some of these movies, alright? Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man 1, 2, 3, they're fun, but they're not, in my opinion, not, just fucking flying here, not very well made movies. Maybe it's I don't know. They're not very well made in my opinion. I think some of the acting's a little wonky, some of the writing's really wonky. Spider-Man 3 is just all over the freaking place. I think 2 is probably the best. Again, I want to make it clear I don't hate those movies, but I do have issues with them. They are canon to the MCU, as we'll get into. Obviously, they are canon, or they're MCU adjacent. The Andrew Garfield, Mark Webb duology, whatever, there was going to be a trilogy or what have you. There's going to be more of those. I think those two movies are good. There's a little bit too much going on in 2, but again, I don't hate them. They're pretty good. And then, of course, this is the next Spider-Man reboot. Now, we did see Tom Holland's Spider-Man in Captain America Civil War. However, this is his first solo outing film. And I gotta be straight up honest, this is so far, again, look, I have seen Far From Home, I have seen No Way Home, I've seen Into and Across, which are also MCU canon, via the multiverse and all that, like Tobey and Andrew. But as far as this review goes and where I've come so far with that, this is the best, I mean, it's the only one I've covered, but, with the other movies that I've seen, Tom Holland, or excuse me, Tobey and Andrew, this is the best one. I think the acting is very good. Tom Holland is very good in this sequence. It's funny. I don't know how old he is. I think he's like close to 30 now. But he like always effing looks 16 or 15. It's kind of weird. He's very lucky that way because they keep milking him for, I don't know why I did this. They can keep milking him for, that MCU money, that Marvel money. But I think he does a great job, okay? I know Tom Holland, like Chris Pratt, they're both in a lot of things, okay? They're in a lot of things. I'm not going to deny that. However, they are good in most of the things that they're in. I'm not going to say they're bad in these roles, but they probably are in too many roles, but they're good. And Tom Holland is, in my opinion, the best Spider-Man. He looks like Spider-Man the most. He's not a freaking 32-year-old with a mortgage running after a school bus. He's not Andrew Garfield with too cool hair and he's way too effing tall. This kid looks like he's in high school because he practically was in high school when they filmed it. Of course, his buddy Ned, Zendaya's in this, whoever plays the other hot girl, I don't know her name, Liz, and then you get, of course, basically everyone else in the high school. They're actually high schoolers. They're not like 42-year-olds pretending to be 18-year-olds like they sometimes do. They're actually effing the right age, and that actually, goes a long way. Now, we got to talk about everything, but, one of the main things that, obviously, like I said, the acting is great. I think Tom Holland is a great, amazing fit, spectacular fit for, ultimate fit for, the role of Spider-Man. Of course, Ned is good, the guy in the chair trope, of course, he's good in that. And then we get to the villain, of course, Michael Keaton playing the Vulture, Adrian Toomes. And, look, one of my last MCU reviews, I was like, oh, he's not, this villain isn't really the best, villain in MCU history, like, the Incredible Hulk, Abomination, or Ego, the Living Planet, stuff like that. They're not bad, but they're not, like, stand out amazing, you know what I mean? And I do think that Vulture is one of the best MCU villains ever. I know that's not a typical thing, or not an atypical thing to say, but, I think Michael Keaton does a great job. He brings the funniness and the intensity and the lightheartedness and just like the dad shit that like goes along with this kind of role, where he's kind of like playing like a good cop and a bad cop type thing. I think that kind of works. Again, the scene where he pulls the gun on Peter in the car and gives him the talk and all that. It's intense. Obviously, it's not like the best villain of all time, but as far as this movie's concerned, it's a good villain because not only is he acted well, he's also written well. You get the whole damage control thing and you get him trying to make a living. And really, he's not a bad guy. He just wants the best for his wife and his daughter and, himself. But he really does want to help out his family. And, that is illegal stuff, doing illegal stuff that isn't necessarily great. And, of course, Spider-Man kind of swings in to kind of save the day. And that kind of F's him up in a lot of ways. And then, of course, he ends in jail with Mac Gargan's Scorpion and all these other creatures. Now Vulture is currently in the Sony universe with Morbius. I don't know what the hell he's doing over there. I don't know how we got another suit. I don't know. Again, Morbius, the Sony stuff, all those movies, they're also MCU canon adjacent, like across and into the Spider-Verse, Toby, Andrew, all this stuff now, Deadpool now. There's a lot of stuff that is not necessarily in the MCU canon, but they're still related to each other through the multiverse. That's really cool. But in terms of the Vulture character, I don't really know where he's at or what he's doing now. It's kind of weird. But in this film, at least, he does a really good job, and he has a well written. He's believable, well acted, and of course you get the action scenes, which are also just the best Spider-Man action scenes we've gotten so far, at least in 2017 when this released. It's freaking awesome. I mean, you got Spider-Man's got the different web gadgets, and he's got the crazy things going on. The web ricochet. It's kind of like the PlayStation Spider-Man games. Like mainly Spider-Man 1, a little bit of 2, but you select the wheel and stuff, like you pull the wheel up and you select the different web things, and it's kind of like that. The action is great. The fist fighting is good. The web swinging is really fun. There's some really good, like, I don't want to say like John Hughes Breakfast Club. I don't like the movie Breakfast Club. It was a Breastfed Club. I'd watch that. Breakfast Club, where I saw it in high school. I didn't like it. I don't know. Whatever. Sue me. But it has that feel to it. It has like a Home Alone type of Breakfast Club type thing, where it's just a bunch of high schoolers getting up to goofy stuff, and just seeing Spider-Man just like not being able to use his webs, so he has to run a lot because he's not in a city, stuff like that. He's like busting through walls and shit, and scaring little girls in their tent. It's moments like that which really kind of ground the character and kind of make the movie feel more believable, and of course the high school atmosphere helps as well. But it does a really good job with doing that. I think they kind of nailed it in that aspect, kind of the tone and the atmosphere that they wanted to create. It's pretty good stuff. But again, like I said, the villain is great, the action's good, the CGI is good. There are moments. I think this is one of the first times I'm seeing this movie with my glasses, so maybe that's why. But there are moments in this movie where Spider-Man is he's in a suit. And, he's talking, his mouth moves kind of like Deadpool does. But you can tell when there's a lot of CGI in this movie. When Peter is in the Spider-Man suit and he's doing Spider-Man things, there are moments where I'm like, oh, that's a little ropey. You know what I mean? It's not horrible, but it's noticeable when, our eyes are trained in a way where we can perceive stuff that isn't human, like isn't like 100% objective human. You know what I mean? Our brains are trained on that stuff. We can kind of, even if you don't think you're noticing it, your brain is noticing it. That's just how our brains work. And there are moments when Spider-Man's in the suit and it's practical and he's really there in the suit, looks fine. And then there's moments where he's swinging across the city or he's leaping on rooftops or he's doing whatever, and it does look a bit wonky, right? It looks a little bit rubbery, a little stretchy, a little slimy at times. It just looks a little bit different. It's not inherently horrible because it doesn't look bad, but at the same time it is noticeable, and it does kind of stand, or it did stand out for me at least. And I was like, ooh, we gotta, it doesn't look too great. Not horrible, again, it's not bad. It's not like objectively terrible. It looks like shit, It looks fine, but it looks different, and I think, they tried their best. I get it, what I mean? He's in a suit. You don't see his face, so you can easily try to, CGI that and make Spider-Man do things that the actor couldn't or a stunt guy couldn't. I get it. It's easier that way. But at the same time, it did, put some ringers in my brain. I was like, ugh, that doesn't look too great. Again, for the most part, the CGI is pretty good. Again, the comedy is great. You're dealing with Spider-Man, kind of like Ant-Man or the Guardians. This is a more, I don't want to say it's not a comedy, but there are more funny moments in this because you're dealing with this character. And fortunately, 99% of the jokes do land. Again, I can't really think of that many that didn't. I was laughing a lot during the movie. It is pretty funny. Again, I think that they, maybe not as well as Guardians, but I think that the guy who directed this, he did all 3 of these MCU Spider-Man movies, he did a really good job of kind of making, I can't remember his name, I'm not bending down to pick it up, it's going to look weird. But the guy did a good job, John Watts maybe, he did a good job of kind of making it funny and intense and action-packed and violent and scary and every kind of emotion that you would want with a Spider-Man like comic or like the Spider-Man character in and of itself, whether you're playing a game or watching an animated show or whatever. I think they did a really good job of showing that. And like I said, the Vulture is great. A lot of set pieces are really good, but with the yacht and the boat and all that, some really good stuff there. Again, really good web swinging scenes. The ending is really funny with Aunt May going, "What the fuck?" and then it like cuts to end credits. It's got the heart too. What I mean? Like Aunt May is obvious. It's weird. Like every effing Spider-Man trilogy we get, she gets like considerably younger. Like Toby, she's like 9,000 years old. Andrew, she's like 50, 60, and here she's like 30, 40. It's weird. It's like the next trilogy she's going to be like 18. I don't know. It's weird. But they're going to be the same age. Aunt, somehow. She's going to be like 4 years old and she'll be the aunt. But I do think that it is interesting that, you know, I think Marissa Tomei, I don't know. Obviously she's the best looking Aunt May because she's not a million years old. She's also probably the best written, I think. You know, we're going to get into that with the other two. But she does a good job. You know, she's like the mom figure and all that, and I think Spider-Man trying to, you know, when Ned finds out, he's like, don't tell Aunt May, she can't find out, you know what I mean, that's kind of cool. Obviously, she does find out in the end, but I think it's kind of cool details there. And we gotta, of course, address the elephant in the room, the big spider elephant in the room. Many people have kind of critiqued this trilogy, and we're kind of past that now when we get to the end of No Way Home, which we'll get to it, but this is kind of weird because a lot of people attribute this trilogy, or especially this, you know, film and Far From Home as well, as being basically not Spider-Man, but Iron Spider, or Boy-Man, something like that. You know what I mean? It's like Iron Man, and basically, you know, infusing his suit and his crazy effing abilities and all that with Spider. Because you look at Spider-Man, right? He's got the web swing, and maybe he's got a few gadgets. You know, he's got the weird. I looked right at the light, like the Spider-Man symbol, like the bat signal thing on the wall. You know, there's stuff like that, but a lot of the stuff in this movie, especially his suits and the gadgets, are literally shown to be made by Tony. And, you know, Iron Man is in this movie. Of course, he's in the movie quite a lot. He does a good job. He's fine. He's great. Robert Downey Jr., you know, he's good as Iron Man. But at the same time, I do think maybe they could have held back a little bit. But, you know, what else do you do? Like, when Spider-Man is in the MCU and he has interacted with Tony Stark before, they're going to continue that trend, okay? It works. I don't really mind it. I get the critique that, oh, he's too much like Iron Man. You know, why does he have all these gadgets? Just strip him down to the web swinging, and that's all you need, you know? And, again, we get there, but I do think that when you're trying to fit this version of the character in the MCU with other characters in the MCU, when Sony's playing nice with Disney, I think it works, and I think that they handled it pretty freaking well. Again, spoiler alert, at the end of No Way Home, he's practically alone. He made his own suit, and he's ready to go and be more of a, they call it street-level hero. I guess that's like a coined term. I guess they trademarked the term street-level. But, yeah, I mean, at this point, he's not there yet, but I think it works. I think it's a good, you know, kind of progression, a good character arc of this character so that, yeah, he's relying on, you know, Iron Man and other people, and then by the end of his trilogy, he's basically alone and ready to kind of move on with his life by himself. It's a really good arc. Again, we'll get to that with Far From Home and No Way Home, but in this case, with Homecoming, I think it works. Again, set pieces are really good. I like the action, I like the comedy, I like the CGI for the most part, I like the comedy for the most part. Like I said, I think that the you know, the effects and the editing and all that, it's fine. I think that the pick for Spider-Man is the best we've ever gotten so far out of every version of the character. I think Tom Holland is the best. And yeah, I mean, like I said, the villain is really great. I think that they nailed that kind of Breakfast Club teenager, you know, high school feel to it, which it's hard to balance a high school movie where Peter's just kind of you know, he's preparing for a homecoming, he's preparing for a dance, he wants to ask out a girl he likes, you know, stuff that we've all kind of been there, and you know, that's all relatable and all that because, you know, I'm assuming. I mean, I didn't go to Homecoming, but, you know, if I did, I can imagine I'd be like Spider-Man. I don't have powers, I don't think. Maybe I do. We'll have to find out. I got to get bit by a spider sometime soon. But I am excited to see where that goes. But in terms of the nailing of the atmosphere of again, balancing the high school stuff with the Spider-Man stuff and the action scenes and the mystery and the plot and all that, Vulture, I think that John Watts, I think that's his name, he did a really good job of kind of blending those two together. So tell me down below in the comments what you think about Spider-Man Homecoming, and yeah, I'll probably give that movie an A. I mean, I really enjoyed it. Again, it's kind of like, no duh, but again, we're in this MCU era where it's like every movie is just good, you know what I mean? And I'm not going to lie and say, oh, this one's actually bad. Like, no, it's good. It's a well-made, it's a multi-billion-dollar franchise. They're not going to make a shitty movie. You know what I mean? They're not going to intentionally make a bad product. And I don't think any of the stuff post-Endgame, they tried to do that either. Again, we'll get to it. We'll get to all of it. Don't worry. But we are currently talking about Homecoming. Next will be Thor Ragnarok, which I used to have a lot of problems with. Now, after seeing Love and Thunder, which I have a lot of problems with, we'll get to it. I kind of retroactively like Ragnarok more because of a scene in Love and Thunder. We'll talk about it for the next review. But anyway, that is my review of Spider-Man Homecoming, man. I really freaking love the movie. I think it's a great start to an overall really great trilogy. I remember Far From Home being my least favorite, but again, we'll get to that soon. But yeah, man, I think this version of the character is my favorite by far. I love this movie. I think it's a really good, kind of homage to Spider-Man with kind of, including him in the other MCU world as well, which is really great. Again, thank God, Sony. When I saw the Sony logo in the beginning of the movie, I'm like, oh God, look at that! A Sony movie? That's good! Like, actually very good, you know what I mean? Like, Venom's okay, it's fine, I guess, it's good, I guess, but Homecoming is like, this is a good movie, it's a really good movie. But anyway, tell me down below what you think about Homecoming, not the dance, the movie, and, if you want me to tell me about the dance, whatever, I'll listen, I guess. But anyway, the movie, but also tell me in the comments, what is your favorite version of Spider-Man? Do you like Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, or Tom Holland? Again, I'm choosing Tom on this. My least favorite would be Tobey. I know, how dare you, I know. I don't know, I just don't like it. But, yeah, I am very excited to continue with, again, Thor Ragnarok, and then I believe after that it's Black Panther, so I can't wait to cover all the rest of the MCU regarding the movies. And again, once we get to Endgame and we finish up that phase, I'll probably take like a little bit of a break, just a little baby bit, not a year, just maybe a week or two, and then we'll continue with the MCU stuff, and then we obviously get into the shows, and you guys voted, so WandaVision is the first MCU show. I know that Daredevil and all that is canon now too, but I'm just saying in terms of release order. So I'm going to watch all of WandaVision, probably 1 or 2 episodes a day. I try to get them out a little bit quick. And then after that, I will, of course, do a review on the whole series, or the whole season. So yeah, lots of fun stuff regarding the MCU to look forward to. I got, of course, reactions. I have a video game. I'm still doing Advanced Warfare, don't worry. And yeah, man, lots of cool stuff to look forward to. So again, if you enjoy this type of content, please make sure to subscribe. And again, liking, both like and subscribe are completely free. Takes you 1 second. It really helps your boy out. Anyway, can't wait to cover more MCU content with Thor Ragnarok. Thank you guys, and we'll see you in the next video.